All right, my camera is finally here and I am beyond excited to finally have it in my hands. Quick side note, I did get a little bit excited that I could actually read this. Ware mono, which is fragile thing, and chui, which is be careful. It literally says fragile, handle with care. But yeah, why might this have Japanese on the package at all? Well, because this package was imported from Japan. As you may have seen from the video, I did want to go ahead and grab myself an Olympus pen E-PM2, and while they can be found in the US on sites like eBay, there were a few points of consideration that had me go to the trouble of actually using a third-party site like Buy to essentially proxy buy them for me and then ship them all in to me. But first things first, let's get this thing open. Yeah. I did actually opt for the package consolidation. So they opened up all the packages that were sent to them, they inspected the goods, and they consolidated and repacked everything so it could more better survive international shipping conditions. Ooh, this is my first time getting a package delivered from Japan like this, so a bit exciting, to say the least. Seems pretty well packed. Looks like we got our first bit of accessories. This looks like it's probably the charger. Yeah, some miscellaneous cables. So that's quite an old charger, but I mean, so is the camera. And then looks like this is probably the lens for the body, if not maybe one of the lenses. All right, so I did get the camera itself. I'll include all the listings here as well as the pricing, what I paid. Obviously, part of this, when you import packages from Japan, you do have to pay, unfortunately in the US at least now, import duties. That minimum that used to be like $900 and you know, the exemption for personal use, that is gone now with the new tariffs. So there are some additional fees, and I'll break those all down for you, that go into consideration when getting a package imported from Japan. There's definitely some things that are worth buying from Japan and some things that aren't. But yeah, let's take a look at what's in here. Now, I was very much aware of the condition. There's definitely a little bit of damage to the corner of the LCD, which I was absolutely fine with. And so as far as the damage, pretty minor, just a little bit of damage right there in the LCD. I don't mind it at all. I find this totally reasonable condition personally. But yeah, I think it looks great. I think it looks really great actually. Now this is a 14 to 42 millimeter lens. However, because it's a micro four thirds camera, there is some cropping to consider. So of course, if you're familiar on a full frame, if you have a 35 millimeter lens, it's a 35 millimeter lens. If you go to something like an APS-C, it has a crop factor of about 1.5. When you're dealing with a micro four thirds, that actually goes all the way up to 2x. So even at the 14, because of the cropping that this sensor will do, this is more like a 28 millimeter. Whereas when we punch into a 42, that's actually closer to an 84. But yeah, the camera itself looks great, and let's take a look at this thing. I don't know if it has a charge. Certainly doesn't have a card, but I can toss one in there real quick. Card's in. Let's see if the... Oh. See what's... There we go. So you have to actually push the button over. It doesn't just latch automatically. So we'll turn this thing on, see if it has much of a charge already. Moment of truth, right? Yeah, it doesn't look like there's really any charge to speak of on this camera, so fortunately I did already prepare this, so I'll take out the battery that came with it. I actually already charged these up, but I got these from Amazon. They're Wasabi Power branded batteries. This is the exact battery I need for this Olympus camera. Well, I think we ran into our first snag here. This battery does seem a little bit different. This is the BLN1 replacement battery, and unfortunately this is a BLS5. Very much the wrong battery for my camera, so that's on me. Let's see here. Yeah, this is the Zuiko Digital 14 to 42 Easy Zoom lens, and as you can see from this absolutely tiny lens, I think you can probably already understand why I wanted this. All right, just like that. So that is a pretty darn small camera for as powerful as it is. I did also find a very lovely, otherwise very expensive prime lens for pretty freaking cheap. Again, you are paying that shipping, you are paying the import dues, but when you actually consolidate these packages, you start kind of, you know, making that cost make sense. You're paying it once, but yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Yeah, it's the original case, Lumix. Made by Panasonic, made right in Japan, as a matter of fact. This is the 1.7 is what it actually will open up to. Now, obviously, you're not going to get the same level of bokeh or background blur as you would on a full-frame camera or even just an APS-C style crop sensor. Hopefully, I'll be able to take a few pictures once everything's charged up, make sure it's all working, and yeah, man, I'm super excited to play around with this thing.